Welcome back, guys, to the Let's Go Talk Show. Today we're going to be discussing the topic of innocence. Let's introduce these three unique people. Let's give a round of applause for Hassan that came all the way from Kabul.
Thank you.
So Hassan, how have you seen yourself change from your childhood?
As a child, I was very blocked by the real world, and I did experience some things that every other child would go through in the city. And I lost my mother at a very young age. I don't really quite remember her. I guess she died. What I'm told, she died when she was giving birth. But my life continued on, and my father continued to serve for my best friend Amir and his father. We were servants for them, and my life as a child was very poor. We didn't receive much education. The only education I really received was Amir reading me books. So my knowledge of the world was very low. Didn't really know what was going on. But as Afghanistan started to change throughout the war and the Germans started to come in, my innocence was lost very quickly, and the world hit me really hard.
Wow, Amir.
Yeah.
I mean, Hassan. So on that note, Hassan, what do you think of innocence and how you lost it?
Innocence is something that I think you should keep for as long as possible. But it's very hard in this world. Society has changed, and new things have come into what is known as normal for kids. So I think it's very common that kids lose their innocence quite quickly. But it's losing it at a young age really puts you at a disadvantage. Well, I wouldn't say disadvantage, but it doesn't really benefit you. You're just exposed to more things, and it kind of changes you as a person. As kids who are always stuck inside and still trapped in the innocence. So I think it's something you should keep for as long as possible, but it doesn't seem to be working as well.
That's horrible. That's horrible to hear.
Yeah. Well, keep on moving,
Gotta keep on moving. So I heard you talking about Amir.
Yeah.
How is your relationship with Amir?
Amir and I were quite good friends when we were young. I always looked up to him. He had I was a servant to him, but I think it was just more than that to us. I would do anything for him. He taught me how to read and write, and showed me kite flying, which is really popular in Afghanistan during that time. Arguably one of the best times in my childhood, doing that with him. During the bad times, Amir would always teach me to just relax and kind of look at the good side and just kind of get through it and keep pushing. I was actually kind of discriminated as my race because there was some genocide going on at that time, and to Amir it didn't really matter race. So he just accepted me as I was, and I think that's why we were good friends, because we just accepted each other as we were, and help each other out.
So could you consider him as your brother?
Yeah, almost. We were born together and we grew up ever since we were little, so yeah.
That's nice.
This is the newest brush in brush making technology. It gets out the tangles ASAP, and it's very pretty, I guess. Buy it today by Revlon.
So today I would like to introduce you to another person that I would personally like to know. Her name is Jean Louise Finch, also known as Scout. She's from a little town called Maycomb, Alabama. It's nice to have you on the show, Scout. What is your definition of innocence?
My definition of innocence is when you finally get to understand the real world and you don't have so many questions, and you're finally exposed to lots of different things. Just like how when Tom Robinson was trialed for raping a white woman and he's black, and it was pretty obvious that he didn't do it, but he was still convicted guilty.
So you think there's a lot of racism in Maycomb, Alabama?
I do think that there's lots of racism, and I think it's a big problem and it shouldn't be happening.
So Scout, I heard you have an older brother. What is your relationship between both of you?
Well, me and Jem, we're really, really close. We never go a day in the summer without hanging out with each other. We're just like best friends.
Best friends, huh?
Yeah,
Two peas in a pod?
absolutely.
That's great. So, Scout, I know you've met a lot of people while growing up. Who do you say is most influential on you?
My biggest influence is Atticus. He's my dad. Whenever I have a problem or just wondering like what's going on in life or anything like that, I'll just ask him a question, and he always seems to have the right answer for me. He teaches me pretty much everything I know.
Okay. Today, guys, we have this limited edition shirt from Jack Torrealba. You can buy this shirt for only 3 payments of $9.99. Gotta pay for shipping and handling. Hello, Melinda. It's nice to have you on the show. I have a couple quick questions to ask you. How have you seen yourself change from your childhood?
Well, when I was younger, I was motivated, cheerful, talkative, and friendly. Of course, I'm amazing. Now, ever since that night, I'm alone and no one seems to care.
You sound very terrified for your life.
Well, can I just...
Alright, so that was your answer. Can you tell me your relationship with you and Rachel?
We used to be best friends. Everyone in the Plain Janes were close. That's the different group, of course. But Rachel and I were close. We had been besties since our elementary school days. But as soon as like all the cops were she drops me like a hot potato. I thought we were best friends, but she didn't even wonder why I did so.
That sounds terrible. Wow, what happened? Can you explain what happened? It's not. I know you're in pain right now and you're very emotional right now. But I have one more question to ask you, Melinda. What do you think of innocence and how you lost yours?
Innocence is naivety. Mostly believing that the world is completely good or thinking that there's some lines that even the worst of people wouldn't cross. You lose it sometimes through traumatic events. But you usually lose it after you realize that the world isn't good at all and it's a darker place than you imagine.
Wow. I feel very sorry for you, Melinda. I hope you do get through your emotional state. So guys, that wraps it up for today. Hope to see you next time on the Let's Go Talk Show.